stay on this matter and speak to Professor Titus Beyuo, MP for Lambussie and board chair of the Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital. Prof, good evening and welcome to the ChannelOne newsroom.
Good evening and good evening to the viewers, and thank you for having me and the listeners.
Thank you for joining us as well. Prof, let's begin with your outfit, Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital. You've interdicted 2 doctors and 2 nurses. Would you say this is enough?
Oh, interdiction itself is not, doesn't say much. It only means that step aside so that we can do the investigation and so that you don't interfere with the investigation whatsoever. There is often that suspicion that their presence, they may influence their colleagues, they may influence report or information that will come in. So it's for them to step aside, and a committee has now been constituted to investigate. And if proper culpability is established, then they will face a disciplinary committee, and we will not shy away from exacting the full rigors of punishment or the law as the case may apply. But let me say that no amount of action can restore the life, nor even ease the pain of the family. But at least if we can prevent another person from going through the similar thing, then we would have gone somehow, we would have made some progress. So it's a very, very, very unfortunate development, but the interdiction is not the end. It's only to make way for detailed investigation and for everyone for the people involved to know that management is not taking this lightly at all.
Prof, this committee that you have constituted, do they have a time frame for their work?
They do, but I would wish to leave those details to the management because I chair the board. But we were briefed at the board level. They had given us some preliminary information, but we want to make sure that we do not prejudice the work of the committee. So we are not going to pronounce guilt on anyone nor hurry them through the process. But they do have a time frame, which I'm told is a very short time frame to be able to come up with what has happened. They have already generated some preliminary report that we were briefed at the board, and then they showed us the action they have taken, and we endorse it and commend their management, because for a long time the attitudinal aspect of this is usually not addressed. People just see it as no bed or the system is overwhelmed and all of that, but there's an attitude component. Just having mercy on a fellow human being, seeing that that person could be you, could be your relative, could be anybody, and just going that extra mile. We know our health workers struggle with under very difficult circumstances, but we think that at life and death situations like this, people can still go the extra mile to do a little more. And once that is done, we think that a lot can change.
Prof, you first and foremost are a doctor yourself. You've also been a GMA executive. Let's talk about the no-bed syndrome that exists in our hospitals. How dire is that situation?
It's a very dire situation, but there's hope in the horizon. So let me paint a picture of what it is. And if you give me that opportunity, I would explain why I say there is hope now under what the minister is trying to do. Now, the no-bed syndrome, you will notice that you would only find it being spoken about in the bigger cities, in Accra and occasionally in Kumasi. And coincidentally, the 2 people who have made national news by their unfortunate demise have all happened in Accra. And the situation is just not the absence of a physical bed in a lot of times. So when the hospitals say there is no bed, that they cannot take in a patient, they may say this to another hospital that's trying to refer in, or they may say this to the ambulance that's trying to move someone from home or from somewhere else in. What's typically it will mean is that, one, either the emergency itself, there is no space in the emergency, or if it's a lower facility, then the facility is lacking the skill to manage that patient. So somebody needs oxygen. The facility has no oxygen. Practically, why will you take someone and sit down and look at the person for the person to die? So you will tell them you are not capable of managing, so go to the next facility that they would manage. Or they need blood. The person is bleeding, you need to transfuse. You don't have blood. Then you say go to the next level so that they can give you blood. Sometimes it's theater space. When you take this person, you must operate immediately. I don't have the theater, or I don't have the doctor that can operate. Then you may say go to the next level so that they can do that. But this said, none of this should ever justify why you cannot at least do what we call triage,
Right.
which is the basic assessment of the patient to see can the patient at least make it to the next level. Is there something I can do first before moving? It is better for the patient to be in a facility receiving some form of care than no care at all. So these are some of the reasons why they will say no bed. The physical bed, we have different types of bed in the hospital. According to the WHO, total number of beds per population is estimated it should have about 2 to 5 beds per 1,000 population.
Right.
Data show that in Ghana, our actual bed availability is about 0.9 per 1,000 bed population, which shows that it's woefully inadequate. But very often, when this no bed is mentioned in the emergency circumstances, it is the functionality of the bed. Either they require a bed with an oxygen that is not there, they require a bed that needs ventilator and that may not be there, or a stroke bed, or some specialized type of bed that if it's not available, you may not be able to provide optimum care.
Right.
But that should not mean turning somebody who is now trying to access the health system. No, the person should at least be seen before we go to the next level.
Professor Titus Beyuo, thank you so much for speaking to us.
All right, thank you. I wish I had mentioned that the ministry is solving this problem.
Right.
And there's a comprehensive solution coming up, which we have been working on just before this happened.
Okay.
And with this happening, I hope we'll quicken the process. And very soon, with IT and AI, when an ambulance picks a patient, just on an app, they can tell the nearest hospital that has the capacity to manage the case that they have, so that this turning of patient away will never happen. And I plead with health workers that let's also check our attitude. Show mercy. Just go the extra mile and do something. You may save a life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Professor Titus Beyuo is the board chair of the Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital.